Working on the old garage door truck today. It's this 96 C1500. See the garage door there? This truck is fitted with a tranny cooler and a fan, and the transmission fluid is not routed through the radiator. A couple different camps on that thought. Some people say, why would you want to heat it up to the temperature of the engine? Others say the radiator can be additional cooling in severe conditions. This truck was fitted with a gauge, and it was found in traffic jam conditions to get up to 225, which is, in my opinion, acceptable. But the owner is worried that if it gets any higher, the fluids might start breaking down. Supposedly they break down around 250 degrees. So we're going to go ahead and fit this extra capacity transmission oil pan on it. And you can see the pan actually is built in tubes. And if you look at the holes, there's fins inside the tubes that are curlicue. Pan has a drain plug and a port for sending unit. Here's some of the sales pitch on the pan. Illustrated instructions, it says.
There was nothing in there. Yeah, there was no instructions in there.
Here's a look at the top side of the pan. You can see the tubes where the air goes through the fluid. And we'll go ahead and install this and see if this makes any kind of difference in rush hour type conditions.
Still quite a bit of fluid. We let that drip for a while, huh?
Yep. The transmission pan is off. We think the filter just pulls straight down and probably kind of sits in the bottom of the pan when the pan's installed. So we're going to see if we can get that out now.
Oh, the seal's still up in there.
So here's the original pan. You can see it actually has a removable magnet in it. We'll put the magnet in the new pan. The new pan's plug actually has a magnet on it too, which is nice because you can wipe that off every time. That little top piece you see on the drain plug is the magnet. The depth of the new pan to the tube is a little bit, just a hair deeper than the old pan. But we think it's probably going to be okay, and we're going to go ahead and assemble it and see what happens. Right there is where the filter goes in. You can see the old gasket is still up in there, and I try to get that out of there. Probably need a pick or something. The old filter fought us a little bit. We actually had to collapse it and then pull it out with the pliers after we get a grip on it. Made sure there's no shavings in there. Now we're going to go ahead and install the new filter. So we're getting ready to install the filter. First we will install the seal, and then we'll push the filter onto the seal. Here we're going to throw this gasket on this pan. You never really want to use any RTV on a tranny pan gasket. So we're going to throw it on dry.
See, these holes are a little undersized.
Oh, kind of nice, holds a bolt.
These are oversized. Interesting, huh?
We're using the gasket that came with the filter kit because that had a torque spec, and the gasket that came with the pan did not. One seems like a rubberized cork, and the other one seems like a straight rubber. Probably a horse apiece. Here we're reinstalling the pan. We actually had to stake the seal into the aluminum case because it kept falling out with the filter, and after we did that it held up there and we were able to get the pan on. Turned out the cross member was in the way of getting the bolts torqued down, so we jacked with the back of the trans. In the process saw that this tranny mounts on its last legs. It's actually a little shorter than the new one because it's collapsed in on itself. So here's one out of Korea. We'll put that in there. And here he's torquing all the bolts down to a max of 12 foot-pounds. There are instructions on the filter package. And can I just get a quick look at the cross member?
Sure.
We actually had to cut a notch out of the cross member to clearance the tubes in the back of the pan. When we set it down, I'll give you another look. The notch is actually enabling us to get a socket up there to torque down the bolts in the back as well. Here's a look at the transmission tubes clearancing the cross member with that notch cut out of it. And this thing is mounted now with the transmission mount, so that's its final location. One note on this pan is in the front, we're a little worried about this exhaust piping right in the way of these tubes. It actually looks like it's a hair bit lower as far as air going through the tubes. And I'm not really liking that exhaust crossover piping right there by the transmission, or the Cali converter for that matter. And my suggestion with that is, if you're worried about temperature, wrap it with header wrap. Adding the fluid. How much more capacity is the new transmission?
2 quarts and 4 ounces.
2 quarts and 4 ounces. Now we're going to start the truck up and get it up to operating temperature to check the tranny fluid. Here's the transmission temperature gauge as it warms up. Here's the 2 tranny lines. You can see that the way it was plumbed was the sending unit was plumbed into directly into the line. Could also plumb into the new pan with that port they provided. Ran through the gears and went down a little bit on the dipstick. We're topping her off. And again, this is a 4L60 transmission. And it's the same for a 700 R4. Here we got the truck back up in there. We're checking for leaks. There are none that we can see at this point. And we're going to set her down, run it through the gears, check the fluid again, and send it on its way.